Good morning. It's another day. It's another project in the kitchen. Actually, we're not going to be in the kitchen today. Kitchen's looking really nice. All the appliances are in. The countertop is on the island. We have been eating meals in here for the last couple of days. Pretty happy with where we're at. There's more work to be done. We've got a pantry to do. We've got cupboards and drawers and all that kind of stuff coming up. But today's project is we're going to take a look at the floor. This is dining room, living room area, and all of this floor is going to get ripped out and replaced. So I've got a couple of bars. I got big bars, I got little bars, I got a hammer. I have the tractor with the debris bucket poised and ready to receive some junk, and all that's going to go out to the burn pile past the barn. And first step is just ripping all of this out of here so we can get started putting in a new subfloor that'll match up with the height of this tile. So that comes in a little bit later. For now, demolition. The demolition does have to be, let me flip a light on, a little bit delicate here at this transition because we're going to keep the hardwood in that hallway and we're just going to end right about here. You can see like this board I'd like to leave, but it's not nice and I can't have that be in the middle. So I might have to replace this board back at least a little ways. And then somewhere in here, we're going to butt the new floor up against it. So that'll get solved later. But during demolition, I have to get that out nicely without wrecking anything beyond it, even though the stuff beyond it isn't very nice. And then this does go underneath that face board on the stairs there. So we'll have to get that sorted out too. But time to quit jabbering and start working. More manual labor, yay! Well, that about wraps it up in here, at least for the floor. There's still lots to do, but I didn't feel much like talking this week, and that's all right because mostly it was mindless, repetitive stuff that I didn't have to tell you about anyway, so you got to enjoy it in fast motion. I did not get to enjoy it in fast motion. It took 2 days to strip the old wood out. It took a day to put the new subfloor in, and it took another day to put the finished floor in. When I peeled back the original hardwood, I found a few oddities in the floor. Right about here, you know, there used to be a closet right there, and then coming out from the closet was a bit of a trench. They actually had cedar siding, which is kind of like a giant shim, laid this way and that way with a ridge down the middle of it to try to fill in a hole, a crater that was in here. And then where that closet was kind of a continuation of that whole thing. And maybe I could have used some floor leveler. If you're not familiar, it's almost like a concrete or a thin set or something that you mix really, really wet and you pour, and it self-levels, and then when it hardens, you should have a more level surface to work with. because of all of the gaps in my subfloor and all of the nail holes and all of the everything, I wanted to avoid going that route just in case. I would have had to tape all those seams. I would have had to tape a ton, dump this stuff on top of it, and then hope that it didn't end up going through to the basement. So instead, I kind of left most of that cedar stuff, and I kind of pieced my own stuff in to seal that off. And it didn't look awesome, but it did the trick, and it really leveled everything out. And then when I put the 4x8 sheets of OSB down to put the real new subfloor in, all that unpleasantness and all of that warpage disappeared. And this actually turned out really, really nice. The first maybe 4 feet from that wall does kind of slope towards that center wall a little bit. And to get it to match the hardwood, I had to allow that to keep happening. But that slope was so gradual that you can't really tell. You definitely can't tell by walking on it. But you couldn't really tell putting this new floor down either. It's not a problem. You can see right here, this is how close we got to having the right number of things. I needed a 3-inch rip on 2 sections. That was a stub of a piece that there's just enough. I needed 2 more planks to get the job done. And this is just the twist the knife part. I had 3 extra planks, but each one of these came out of the box with this defect on it where the underlayment that's stuck to the back side got rolled and melted and whatever, and I don't know if that was in the manufacturing or if that was in the process of shoving it into a cardboard box, but this was stuck inside the cardboard box like that. And if it had been on this edge, I would have just got my rip off of it and we would have been fine, but unfortunately it's on the wrong edge. So we have to take these 3 back to go get 2 more and finish that out. But then I can come back through here and put trim, baseboard, whatever you want to call it, along the whole thing. And then I'm going to trim the windows. We still need to replace the door. But we are kind of to the point where we can start moving back in here. This is tape to mark out kind of dimensions of the TV so we can decide where we're going to mount that. But anyway, oh, the other thing, the caulking, the seam here. This is a latex caulking product made by the same company that makes the grout, and this color is supposed to match. It's not a match, but when you stand back and just look at the floor, it's close enough, and it looks really nice. And then we use the same thing over here, which actually looks really good because it matches the wood really well. So that is the seam. There is no tripping hazard. There's no threshold. We didn't have to put a transition piece in there. I really like that clean line there and that clean line there. And one of these days we'll replace the stairs. I'm going to build a pantry over there. The doors and drawer fronts have to get built. And as of about 2 hours ago, I am the proud owner of all of the drawers for this entire thing. Eagle Woodworking, they're going to be a sponsor of an upcoming video. They sent me all of the drawers to my specs to put into this thing, and I don't have to build my own drawers, which is awesome. That's probably next week's video, depending on weather and what else comes up this week. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.